Welcome to another episode during our 4th of July week, which is special. We're celebrating these United States of America, and we're featuring certain states. We'll get to that in a minute, but my name's Aunt Annie.
And mine's Grandma Jayne.
And so far we've covered the great state of Texas. We've covered Mississippi. Texas, of course, Jane made great ribs, and we're still going to do something with those ribs, those 10 pounds of boneless ribs. I think at the end of this episode she's going to do a little something more to them to get them ready for eating later. Okay, then we went east and we traveled to Mississippi, and we've got a Mississippi mud pie sitting there cooling just a bit so we can finish that off here pretty soon. Then we went to the great state of Alabama, which we were very fond of because we have family members from Alabama, and we made a wonderful, it's called, I believe, Absolute Mexican cornbread. And that's over there ready to go in the oven at 300, but so far everything we've put in the oven was 350. So we're going to be putting that in at the end of this particular episode when we're done with our 350 items. And our next state as we move further east is the great state of Georgia. Georgia is our peach state. Georgia has beautiful, beautiful farmland and mountains, and it's got beautiful Gulf shores. It's a wonderful, wonderful place. Jane and I have traveled with Megan and her husband Josh, with baby in the tummy, to Savannah last year for Labor Day, or the year before, I guess it would be now.
Yeah.
We went to Savannah. We wanted to see lots of things in Savannah. Wonderful, wonderful place. Of course, Georgia's also home to Atlanta. Atlanta, of course, houses the Georgia Aquarium. It also has Martin Luther King's historic landmarks there in Atlanta, Georgia. Those are wonderful things to go see. Also is home, it used to be at least, my sister's favorite baseball team, the Atlanta Braves. We've gone to see them actually play in Atlanta. So again, Georgia's a wonderful state, and because it is the peach state, Jane and I thought, what would be better than to make
Peach Cobbler.
Peach Cobbler. So Jane's taking the lead on this one. Jane, what are we going to do?
Well, I've already melted 1 stick of butter in the bottom of this pan, and that's all I do with that. And then I take 1 cup of sugar right here.
And that's how many ounces?
How many ounces? 1 cup is 8 ounces.
8 ounces.
Yeah. And then I'll take a 3/4 cup of flour. It's not much to this really, guys. And I kind of mix that in, and then I slowly add 3/4 cup of milk. Just do it a little bit at a time.
Now, some people would rather not cook with anything less than 2% fat. Some people use whole milk. We're just using my fat-free skim. But again, I just wanted you to know a lot of times for baking, people don't want to go anything less than 2%.
Okay, this is getting kind of mixed up there pretty good and kind of thicker. And you just put that on top of the butter once I get it mixed in really good. And I prefer to use fresh peaches, but I couldn't find any ripe ones. I didn't plan ahead, I guess, to have ripened peaches. So I have 2 15-ounce cans of sliced peaches that are in heavy syrup.
Now, Janie, how do you know if a peach is ripe and how you want it for baking?
I just feel them, and if they're getting softer, they're not too soft. They're not like mushy. They're
Okay.
just kind of softer. They're not the real hard like.
So if they're really hard, they need to ripen yet.
Yes. Yeah. And when you can slice through them easier, you know, they're so delicious. Then you just pour that on top of the butter, into this dish. Nothing to it, and don't touch it, don't stir it, anything. And then the next thing, you just add your peaches on top.
Now, if we weren't featuring Georgia, Jane, what other kinds of cobbler could you make?
Blueberry, strawberry, raspberry.
Could you make an apple cobbler?
Apple, oh yeah, definitely, yes.
Cherry
That would
cobbler.
be really good this time of year too.
Cherry cobbler. So cobbler is just something, kids, you could do with lots of different fruits, but because we're featuring the peach state of Georgia,
That's how it
we
goes
wanted
in.
to make a peach cobbler. And so how's it, we already talked about it's going in at 350, Jane?
Yes, for 30 to 35 to 40 minutes, 30 to 45 minutes.
Okay, so let's go ahead and I'll set the timer for you since I'm more at home with my
All
stove.
right.
What do you want me, what's the lesser of the
It's
baking?
30 minutes.
Okay,
30
we're gonna get it to
45
30.
minutes.
And we're gonna start there. We'll take a look at it at 30, because again, we can always add, but we can't take back out.
So all there is to it is 1 stick of margarine, or butter I've used, but melted in the bottom of that dish. 8 tablespoons is what it equals. 1 cup sugar, 3/4 cup flour that you mix together, and then slowly add 3/4 cup milk, and then just add your peaches. So it's easy.
That is easy.
Not very many ingredients. And we'll see how it turns out, because this is the first time I've made this one too. My mom has a great peach cobbler recipe, and we couldn't find it. So we'll look for it. But anyway, this will be good.
Maybe we'll find it's just as good or better. You never
Yeah.
know, right?
Indeed.
Till you try, you never know. Okay, Jane, I'm gonna go ahead and grab these pecans. So they're ready.
Okay. You can get that ready, and then I'll do the barbecue sauce when you're done.
Perfect. Because we mentioned Jane's
Try
got a
to
little
flow.
bit more to do here with the ribs, a kind of a final touch, if you will. Okay, Jane, would you mind plugging that in for me? Thank you. What I'm going to do now is, it's cooled just a bit, but now I'm going to put a bag of miniature marshmallows on top of this mud pie concoction. Oh, there's one lone marshmallow. Now, kid, I can't let him be alone in there. Poor thing. He wants to be part of the action. Okay. I'm going to get this whipped up again. What I'm going to do is, Jean, would you grab me a little more milk?
Sure.
Please, because I want it to be able to drizzle a little bit more. I want it a little more liquidy. Thank you, Jane. Oh yeah.
Looking good.
There.
Yeah.
Now, thank you, trusty assistant.
Mhm.
Okay, what I'm going to do now is I'm going to drizzle this as I want to.
Ooh. Yum, yum.
Over this concoction.
Is it a drizzle or a squiggle?
I think, was it a squiggle or what did you call
I
it?
thought it was a squiggle. Is what I said about the baked beans. Yeah.
I can't remember what the word was. Swoogle, swoozle, swoogle.
Who knows? That's what be yummy though. It's not even done yet.
Now, how many votes do we have for pecans?
Yes.
Oh, that's everyone. Yay. How many votes do we have for big pieces of pecan versus small?
I don't care. Sure. What the heck? 2 and 2, huh?
Jane, I'm going to let you put some pecans on
Okay.
here, and then I'm going to drizzle the rest on top of the pecans. No.
Oh no.
Now again, when you're serving this, I would go ahead and take some chocolate sauce, and I would, what you call like a swoozle or a swiggle. I would like Zorro. I would like do a with chocolate sauce on the plate to serve it, so it looked really groovy.
I do that a lot, like swiggles or whatever you call it. Because, like at cookies too, you don't want a lot of frosting sometimes. Just put a swiggle across there.
A swiggle. I love it. We shall have to look that up and see if it's.
Yeah.
Kids at home, while we're doing this, look it up and see if swiggle's a word.
It'd be what? Swiggle. SWIGGLE.
I would, if we're making it up, I guess we can spell it any way we want.
Yeah.
But
And that looks good. Holy cow.
yummy,
These
this
are
looks
chocolate
yummy. I've gone to chocolate heaven. Chocolate heaven. You know what else we could do right now if we had a little extra? Put it on some graham crackers.
Oh, put them crushed up, you mean?
We're going to be making s'mores here down the line, kids. How do you make them without even a campfire?
Oh, microwave? Yeah.
Or stove.
Mm-hmm.
I guess microwave's easier though.
But man, I always make a mess eating them. Don't you? They're like
Yeah.
some in or something.
Crumbs everywhere, marshmallow
I know, you're better to
everywhere,
eat 'em
chocolate
outside.
everywhere.
You know, I love them.
They're one of my favorite things. I make them all the time, just in the microwave.
Mm-hmm. So what's that frosting like consist of again?
Well, I know it had cocoa, and let's take a look here.
Powdered sugar,
Okay.
vanilla.
Here you go.
Milk.
It had milk and powdered sugar and cocoa. Did it not have butter as well? Stick of butter.
Oh yeah, melted butter.
Yep. Yep, and that's it. Pecans on the top then. Okay. Very good. There's a few calories in that, but they fall out when you cut it right.
Oh
Is that what you always said?
I wish.
I know.
Oh.
Oh boy, we're gonna have fun tasting this.
Oh, like my grandma used to say, oh my stars.
I love you.
Oh, I gotta try it.
She's too funny. Is it really good?
Ah.
To die for, huh?
Oh.
Looks wonderful.
Let me take the
Look at
goobers
this.
off. Yes, let's show.
The pecans got buried in it.
There's our Mississippi mud pie, thanks to Paula Dean. Don't know if I came even close to how well she makes it or how efficiently. This was my first time again. I wasn't afraid to try. I'm not afraid to try. So there we go. There's our Mississippi mud pie. Yum, yum.
And I'm gonna
I
get
think
ready.
it's cool enough to not put on a pot holder anymore. So now
I'm getting ready to make some barbecue sauce.
we're gonna shift gears here. It's same episode though. Our ribs are still in the oven, but Jane said to make them super delicious. Well, our peach cobbler's in the oven as well. It's a good time for Jane to put the final touch on her ribs. And I'll let her tell you exactly what she's gonna do here.
Okay, I just guess at this, guys, so I can say here's a cup of ketchup. And then I just do a little splash of mustard. I don't like them too mustardy, but a little bit of mustard is good. And I'm going to put just a little bit of vinegar in there too, maybe a teaspoon or so. And I've got another cup of brown sugar. We'll see what this goes. You can also put molasses in here if you want.
Could you use yellow mustard or Dijon mustard?
You can use any kind you want, yeah. You could
Or
use
I guess you could probably use mustard powder too if you wanted
Yep.
to.
Dry mustard, horseradish, you know, if
Oh,
you
yeah.
want to. That's kind of good. I do have some horseradish mustard. I like that too once in a while. And we'll take the ribs out and we'll see how they're doing in there.
Am I getting hungry? My nephew his eyes just about popped out of his head.
It's a lot of ribs here. And they're all meat because there's no bone.
Thank you, Texas.
Yeah.
We love you.
And you can always make extra if you want to put it on afterwards too. And I think what I'll do is maybe leave them open. There's plenty of juice in there.
I forgot one of my favorite movies out of Texas is Lonesome Dove. My gosh, is that an awesome movie? Tommy Lee and Robert Duvall. And, oh my
those
gosh,
guys
it's
are
an
so good.
awesome movie.
I was gonna poke them and see how they felt before done, but
Look at me wanting to get every little bit. Is that okay?
yes, I think they can still.
Now, how do you know, Janie, when the ribs are done, so the kids at home know what to
Well, you can
look
use
for?
a thermometer, but I usually just cut open or check with the fork and see how tender they are.
And so they should be tender.
Yes, they should be.
Should they have any
They've
color?
marinated for 24 hours. You mean color?
I mean, should in the inside when they're done, will they have any color?
Not-
Pink or?
No, they shouldn't have pink or anything. They're
Okay.
pork, so you really need to have them be done. I'm gonna put them in again like this, just open.
Okay, without the lid this
Yeah.
time. Is that so they brown up a little, or?
Yeah, and they don't have. Yeah, that's right. They can brown up on the top, and the barbecue sauce can kind of get in there and baked in there a little bit. We'll
Yum.
see. I hope they're good.
Okay, so later we might want to put the baked beans back in once before we eat them, just to warm them up.
Yeah.
Okay, well, I think we're ready to sign off and move on to the next episode, which will feature another state, as well as finishing up our grand finale dessert. Okay? So, since signing off, what would you say, Jane?
I'm always saying stay safe and I love you, but that's the best thing I can say to you. You know, you guys are young, have fun, and enjoy.
Yes, try not to worry about
Be safe.
things, kids. Just be kids. Don't be afraid to be kids. Don't be in too big of a hurry to grow up. Just enjoy yourselves this 4th of July week, and we'll see you next time on
Now We're Cooking.